All right, Real 2K recap breaking down November 11th, 2025 in the NBA. Big news for the day was that Nico Harrison, GM of the Dallas Mavericks, got fired, receiving his comeuppance for the Luka Doncic trade 9 months ago. Be sure to check out my Dallas Mavericks roster analysis video, where I broke down every player on Dallas roster and where some of their players might be going now that he's not in charge. But for this video, we're just going to focus on the games. There were 6 of them. Toronto Raptors, they dispatched the Brooklyn Nets 119 to 109. Raptors move up to 6-5 on the year. Brandon Ingram, he had 25 points. He's got this year 60 true shooting, 26% usage rate. Last year, he had a 56% true shooting and 30 usage. So he's much more efficient this year. It's a career high in true shooting and his lowest usage rate since his Laker days. Only an 18% assist rate, which again plays into he's not as ball dominant as he was with New Orleans, and the Raptors have a few guys on this team who can handle the rock. He is 17 of 26 on mid-range shots, 65% from the field, but only 32% on the threes, 13 of 41. And it's worth noting that he's only at 4.4 three-point attempts per 36 minutes versus 7 three-point attempts last year. For his career, he's at 4.2, so about at his career norms. That was a big question that we had, is whether or not he essentially needs to take more threes, especially on this Raptors team that is a little bit shooting starved. So that's something to keep an eye on moving forward. Scotty Barnes, 15 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. And it's worth noting I bumped Ingram up to an 88 for this roster. And then Barnes, I also bumped him up a point to an 88. He's having a solid year. Has a 4.5 block percentage, which is plus 4.5% plus 1.7 from where it was last year. Currently 14th in the NBA in block rate, which is pretty good for a non-center. So actually, this is underrated. This is supposed to be a 73. There we go. And then boosted his help defense and his three ball. He's shooting that a lot better this year, so I bumped that up to 79. He's hitting 2 threes per game at a 46% clip. He was only at 27% last year, and he's even taking slightly more than Brandon Ingram at 4.9 attempts per 36, which just goes to show that Ingram really doesn't like to shoot threes for whatever reason. And then I knocked his offensive consistency up to a 90. Emmanuel quickly added 24 points. He's on a roll in his last 3 to 4. And then Jakob Poeltl returned from an absence. He had a double-double, 12 and 10. Nets interior defense will get most front courts going. Worth noting that Sandro Mamukelashvili missed this one due to, I think it was a neck injury. I forget. I looked at the release yesterday. Recording this Wednesday afternoon. I did my layout last night, but I was just exhausted and opted for some sleep. Nets, they dropped to 1 and 10. They could use some sleep as well. Nick Claxton, he's having the best offensive season of his career. I did touch on many times he's got a 22% assist rate, plus 8.3% from where it was last year. But he's also in the midst of his worst defensive season, as alluded to before. Teams are getting whatever they want in the interior right now. He's only got a 3.2% block rate, which is minus 2.1%, so 40% worse than it was last year. The Nets are 30th in defense. There's no resistance in the paint. I think part of this is why they originally were starting Michael Porter Jr. at the 4, but that did not work out particularly well, so they bumped him back down to the 3, essentially starting Noah Clowney at the 4, which is what the Nuggets realized that they had to do, and why they didn't just start like Porter at the 4 in general is they just need a more versatile defender next to MPJ, because he isn't really able to do much on that end. But I do have him up to an 84 overall. He's averaging a career high 23 points per game, 59% true shooting on career high 30% usage. Obviously doing a lot more now that he's not on the Nuggets, taking 9 threes per game, which is whereas he took 6.4 last year. So That's up. Assists are up, but that's deceptive a little bit. It's not like he's creating more plays. He's just has the ball in his hands more. His assist rate is 15.7%, which is plus 6.8% up from last year. That's again similar-ish to like Cam Thomas, who he had a higher assist rate last year, but also it went up in line with his higher usage rate. It's not like he's creating at a level that's acceptable or like a positive for a player with the ball in his hands that much. He only has a 1.0 assist to turnover ratio, whereas he had 1.6 last year. So he's no longer playing on easy mode with Nikola Jokic. And then Clowney, he's kind of the starter by default right now. Like he's okay defensively, but he's not an NBA caliber offensive player. You can see right there, he's pretty useless inside of the 3-point line. So yeah, that's where the Brooklyn Nets are at. I imagine that like as soon as Haywood Highsmith gets healthy, he would probably end up in the starting unit just because of the lack of alternative options. Day'Ron Sharpe missed this one due to injury as well. I didn't pay too much attention, but Ben Saraf and Danny Wolf are back from the G League. They did leave Dalen Troyori down there. Let's go on over to the real New York team. The New York Knicks, they go to 7-3, 133 to 120, fifth win in a row. This one over the Memphis Grizzlies. Jalen Brunson, 32 points, 10 assists. Karl-Anthony Towns, 21 and 13. Mikal Bridges, 22, 7 and 5. OG Anunoby adding 16. No Mitchell Robinson in this one, so Landry Shamet got another start. The top four stars on this team are playing at an all-star level. It's essentially like the antithesis of the Magic. The biggest knock on Tibbs is he wasn't able to incorporate Mikal Bridges, and he's really returned to his Phoenix levels with a 69 true shooting percentage on 15 usage. But instead of being like a finisher reliant on, by finisher I mean play finisher, like he would just be a corner shooter or catching, receiving cuts to the basket, etc. So instead of being like a finisher reliant on like Chris Paul to set him up, he's able to be a connector. He's got a 21% assist rate, which is his career high. And it's similar to his time with the Nets. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds, the way that they have Bridges playing. He's also returned to his normal rebound rate of. I haven't updated his ratings yet, by the way. I'm just that's something that I'll get done in the next video. But he had an abnormal like 7% defensive rebound rate, which is like well below his career norms, and it's kind of like how he was being used by Tibbs, like really exclusively only as like a two guard. He's playing a lot more small forward this year. As I mentioned before, they're starting Landry Shamet in the non Mitchell Robinson lineups, whereas last year they were starting Josh Hart, who was taking a lot of rebounds away from all these other guys. So by virtue of also playing the three more than the two, Bridges' rebound rate is way up, so be on the lookout for him to get a rating update from me in the near future. And basically same story for OG Anunoby. Most efficient offensive season for him as well. Best defensive season. His rebounding's also up. He's probably going to make an all-defense team this year. He made one earlier in his career. And I think would have made one potentially last year if he didn't have as many injuries as he did. But let's go on over to the Memphis Grizzlies. They dropped to 4-8 on the year with this loss. Ja Morant had 16 and 10, but again, 4 of 14 from the field, 8 turnovers. So, the counting stats look okay, but under the surface, the game was a lot worse than it was on paper. Jaren Jackson Jr., I need to get his 90 down to like an 80, to like the range where Ja's at. This is kind of a sore thumb right now. I haven't gotten his rating in yet either. But he's only averaging 17 points per game, which is down from 22 last year. 62% true shooting on a career low, 22% usage. He has a career high offensive rebound rate despite all of the centers on this team being hurt. And then they changed the offensive system from Taylor Jenkins to Tomas Isolo. The read and react system, like Jackson actually played pretty well within that. So that probably has a little bit to do with like his usage rate being lower. These guys are kind of just like going through the motions right now in Memphis, and it's certainly reflecting in their win-loss record. We got a little bit of an update on Brandon Clark. He was reevaluated 6 weeks after his knee surgery. He will apparently return in 6 to 9 weeks from now, so early January-ish for him. I think Zach Edey is working out. He was assigned to the G League, so he's probably getting some reps in, and maybe he'll be able to return in a week or two. And then Ty Jerome, he was, if I recall, he was going to be out for 4 weeks, so we're coming up on that. Maybe he'll be back next week or something. The Grizz could certainly need another point guard besides Ja, because Ja's not getting it done. Let's go on over to the 76ers. They moved to 7-4 on the year, squeaking out a 102-100 victory over the Boston Celtics. Low-scoring affair. Justin Edwards was the hero in this one with 22 points on 8 of 9 shooting, 5 of 6 from 3. Best game of the season by far. I doubt he's even scored in double figures in any of their other games. His only miss of the game, that one three-pointer, was actually at the end of the game. It was tipped back in by Kelly Oubre for the winning basket with 8.7 seconds remaining. So overall, that should count for him. That's like a Kobe assist, right? So knee soreness for Joel Embiid in this one. It was his first non-scheduled absence of the season, so keep an eye on that. Andre Drummond, he had 14 points, 13 rebounds in 33 minutes. His second straight start and double-double. He's alive. Wow. Sixers may have decided, like, for as good as Adam Bona's defense is, it's maybe not worth going 4-on-5 on offense with him out there, and that his energy is better utilized off the bench, or maybe more likely that Andre Drummond is just better as a starter than he is as a backup. One of those two, but either way, I did boost Drummond's intangibles up just to get his rating above Bona. I haven't done a rating on him yet, but I probably will in the coming days. And then Tyrese Maxey, he had an off night, part of why it was a low-scoring affair for the Sixers. 21 points, 9 assists, 5 of 17 from the field. I think it's his first off night of the season. You know, every guard is allowed one of those. VJ Edgecombe, he's had a few of those in a row now, so I have dropped his rating already. 6 points on 2 for 11 from the field in 35 minutes. It is worth noting that the Celtics do have a good defensive backcourt, so let's head on over to them. Jaylen Brown, 24 points. Derek White, 18 points, 7 assists, 7 of 20 from the field, 4 for 11 from 3. His shot is kind of coming along. I didn't drop his shooting ratings at all. Obviously, the 2-point percentage was not great in this one, but the 3 ball is mainly the main thing I care about because half of his shots are from 3. Simons had 17 in this one. Only 8 minutes for Josh Minott. What's his name? Jordan Walsh actually started the third quarter. He's been above Chris Boucher in the rotation, so I do need to get my rating in for Jordan Walsh as well. I might change the positions for... Yeah, I think let's actually do that now. I'm going to change Jaylen Brown to... They kind of are like hybridized. Like they both play power forward, small forward. It's just a matter of like who they're subbing for is... and really Sam Hauser too is also in the same boat as like all these guys are basically 3-4s. They don't spend any time at the 2, so it's kind of nebulous as to like who's what when they're all on the same court. But Minott, he's had a really high rebound rate, which plays into him at the 4. And because Walsh started over him in the third quarter, I think it's fine to just have this as like their power forward breakdown. Hauser, I think, is still the top forward off the bench who comes in for Minott most of the time. But, you know, I'm sure I'll be back and forth on these guys. And I guess the reason why I have that as well is so I can... Oh, hold on. Derp, derp, derp. Anytime you switch Jaylen Brown's position, you essentially have to switch Jason Tatum. Alrighty. Let's go on over to the OKC Thunder. They move up to 11-1 on the season. With a... I didn't write down the score, but they beat the... They blew out the Golden State Warriors by quite a lot. Extended garbage time in this one. SGA, 28 points, 11 assists, 28 minutes. Chet Holmgren, 23 points. Isaiah Joe, 18. AJ Mitchell, another solid game with 17. OKC still racked by injuries, but hasn't mattered one iota. The Golden State Warriors, they dropped to 6-6 on the year. Curry came back from a three-game absence, but struggled with the shot. 11 points on 4-13 shooting. Also had 0 assists and 5 fouls. Just an overall bad game for him in 20 minutes. Jonathan Kuminga led the team in scoring with 13 points. Probably not going to get it done against OKC. Limited minutes for everyone. Extended garbage time. Will Richard watch? 9 points for him in 22 minutes. He was 3 for 5 on threes. Otherwise, no real notes to discern from that game. So let's go on over to the Jazz. They were on a back-to-back, but that didn't stop them from trucking the Pacers, 152 to 128. Ace Bailey remained in the starting lineup. Career high, 20 points for him. Lauri Markkanen, 35 points. Svi, probably the biggest underrated player in my roster. I need to get his rating in ASAP because this is awful. I would probably have him like 75, 76, if anything. He had 20 points. Sensabaugh and Filipowski had 16 each. Isaiah Collier came off the bench again for 14 points and 11 assists, so he is productive in his bench role. Even Nurkic was in double figures, 11 points, 11 rebounds. Scoring's been a little bit of a struggle for him. Keontae George was actually the low man in this one with 10 points on 3 of 12 shooting, so solid team effort all around for the Utah Jazz. Going over to the Pacers, they dropped to 1-10, keeping pace with the Brooklyn Nets. Andrew Nembhard, 25 points, 7 assists in this one. Siakam was back. He had 27 points against Lauri Markkanen and the Utah Jazz. And then Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, who I can't add to the roster because he's on a hardship contract, he actually started this game. He had 6 points in 22 minutes. So Siakam was actually at small forward in this one. Tony Bradley got his first start of the year. He had 8 points. Isaiah Jackson doubled off the bench with 12 points and 10 rebounds. And then Aaron Nesmith had a solid one. He's back to 17 points and 7 assists for him. And then we're going to finish off with the Denver Nuggets against the Sacramento Kings. Denver moving to 8-2 on the season, 122 to 108 over the Kings. 5th win in a row for them. Nikola Jokic was announced Player of the Week for the Western Conference, and he didn't slow down at all in this one. 35 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, 16 of 19 from the field. He loves that Domantas Sabonis matchup, let me tell you. Jamal Murray added 23, Aaron Gordon 17. We know what the Nuggets are at this point. Sacramento Kings, they dropped to 3-8. We know what they are too at this point. Sabonis 19-8-4, DeRozan 18, Zach LaVine 12 points on 12 shots. Dennis Schroeder 0 points, 21 minutes. He's been like completely cannibalized by Russell Westbrook. Westbrook just doing whatever he wants, like exerting his alpha male personality over the entire team. They brought him in on a minimum contract, and he's like their highest effort player in all these games because he has a grudge against like half the teams in the league. So obviously against the Nuggets, he gets up to play against them. He nearly triple-doubled off the bench with 14 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists. But obviously they came nowhere close to actually winning a game with him doing that. And then Drew Eubanks had 19 points, 8 of 9 from the field. I guess he got the better of the Jonas Valanciunas matchup in this one. But yeah, that was our recap for November 11th. Again, be sure to check out my Dallas Mavericks video. I think it's pretty insightful. Otherwise, I will see you guys later tonight. Peace.